What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Merlin Mini RTA. So we've got this really cool RTA to take a look at today by Augvape. This thing is a thing to behold. It's a thing of beauty. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love the styling, but not only that, it performs as well. So before we get into this review, I do have to state my intent by saying that I did receive this product for free from the manufacturer for the purpose of doing this video review. However, it has no monetary value to me, which means my opinions on it will remain honest and unbiased. With that being said, I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to the people over at Augvape for sending this my way for the purpose of doing this video. So thank you guys so very much. I really do appreciate it. So the really cool thing about this device is how customizable it is. You get a single coil build deck as well as a dual coil, and with that you can customize your airflow as well. Standard, it comes with a 4.5mm air hole. You can reduce that down with two inserts that you get, including a 2mm air hole as well as a 1.5mm air hole. So for you flavor junkies, you definitely got to be on the lookout for this device here. The average price you're going to find it for online is $29.99, which I think is a bargain. Really do like that price point. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, we have our Merlin Mini RTA in its original packaging here. So just taking a quick look around the outside, it says Merlin Mini RTA with a little scanner authenticator kind of code there. On the top they have their logo. On the side we have their information as far as social media goes. We've got their Facebook, Instagram, and their website. And on the bottom, it's got a complete list of specs. So for anyone that's interested, you got your specs right there on the bottom of the box. And underneath the cap, they've got this little social media Instagram contest where they give away these things every single month. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to read it there, but I'll post a link in the description for those that are curious. Taking a look at what's inside, we have an Allen wrench. You probably have a million of these things laying around. Well, now you have another one. There you go. So we have our RTA itself, the Merlin Mini. We're just going to put that aside for 1 second here while we take a look at what else is in here. It comes in this little foam insert, which is kind of a nice touch because, you know, it's not going to break when it's rattling around in there during transport or anything. Next thing you get is the single coil build deck. And last but not least, we have a baggie of extra stuff. We have the really tiny air hole adjustment in there. We have an extra set of grub screws and a whole bunch of different O-rings. It's got a ton of them. So if you have no excuse to lose one of these O-rings, you can always get a spare out of your little baggie here. It's got so many of them. I'm pretty sure it's got at least 2 full complete sets on here. But yeah, lots of extra O-rings in the package. And that is all she wrote, minus the extra little glass piece. It comes with an extra glass tube as well. So that's it. The rest of the tube is completely empty. Really love the packaging. It's very classy packaging. You know nothing is going to rattle around or break or anything like that. It makes for pretty decent storage as well. Nice and compact. You can kind of just pack everything in there if you want to take it with you on a trip or something like that. So very, very cool. All right, so let's take a close-up look at this thing and go over some specs at the same time. So first things first, it is 24 millimeters in diameter by 42.3 millimeters tall. It comes with this really nice, I believe it's made out of Delrin mouthpiece, and it's a standard 510 fit, but it is a slightly wider bore than a few of the other 510 tips that I own. As you can see there, it kind of matches the same diameter as the actual chimney section. It has dual O-rings and it fits really nice and snug. Definitely no issues with that popping out whatsoever. This top cap comes right off, and the threads on that are absolutely flawless in my opinion. Here you can see the 2 little fill holes on the side. You just stick your dripper down in there and give it a squeeze, fill it right up to the top, and you're good to go. Moving on, we have the glass tank. I believe this is Pyrex glass. It doesn't really specify in the description or anything like that, but it does feel like a good quality glass. On the chimney section here, we have the Augvape logo, which looks really nice and classy. And let's just go ahead and take off the tank section. This can be a bit of a chore because it's a little bit hard to grip with the smooth stainless steel like it is. This section here is going to kind of rotate on you, but it does have a nice hard stop feature when it comes to the airflow. It just gives you that nice little bit of resistance when your airflow is wide open or all the way closed. So that is definitely a nice touch in my book. Here we can see the pre-installed single coil build deck. Each one of these post holes is 2 millimeters squared. It comes with a 4.5 millimeter airflow hole, but this one comes with a 2 millimeter insert. You can also close that down to a further 1.5 millimeter insert just by unscrewing that piece and screwing the other one in. You can see the juice flow holes on the side here, which are 3 millimeters by 4 millimeters. And just taking this deck off really quick, it just kind of unscrews like that. You can see the positive pin is gold plated. So really nice, high quality gold plating there. It doesn't feel cheap or anything like that. So here you can see the dual coil build deck. As you can see, it's velocity style. These post holes are 2.5 millimeters, and there is a pair of them on each post. The airflow section here is 3 millimeters by 5 millimeters, and of course dualed as well. The juice holes on the outside here, which of course it has 2 per side, and these are 3 millimeters. Just unscrewing this deck, you can see the 510 pin, of course gold plated as well. Very, very high quality stuff. And last but not least, we have the little bottom section here, which this device uses nothing but PEEK insulators, which are the utmost quality. You can see the Cyclops Eye style airflow here, which is 2 millimeters by 12 millimeters, and it is dualed on the other side. So it's matchy-matchy on both sides there. And that's really all there is to it. So let's just go ahead and put this thing back together, have a quick vape on it, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of this video. Now let's talk about some of my personal thoughts, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off today with the pros, and my first pro is the coiling options that you can do with this thing here. You get the single coil deck, you get the dual coil deck. It's going to be great for anyone that wants to do it with 28 gauge, single coil, mouth to lung. You can absolutely do that. Or you could do it like me. I've got it set up with 26 and 36 gauge fuse Claptons, 7 wraps at 3 millimeters, running at about 100 watts, and you can definitely do that as well, and everything in between. This is going to be for the mouth to lunger, the direct to lunger, the cloud chaser, and every single person in between. I feel like this is one of the most customizable devices I've ever seen, which is absolutely a pro in my book. My second pro is that it's very well machined. You can really tell by the styling of this thing. They took a lot of time and effort into making this thing look absolutely gorgeous. I can definitely appreciate a good machining nowadays because you don't see that all too often. You see a lot of these types of devices that just kind of feel rushed, and this is not one of them. I can tell you that much. This feels really, really classy. Everything is nice and smooth. You can really feel the threads are just really nice and smooth. I've never had an issue with crunchy threads or anything on this device here, so definitely can appreciate that. My third pro is the super adjustable airflow. I really like that you can get this thing all the way down to a 1.5 millimeter single airflow straight from the deck, but not only that, you can also kind of close off these holes on the side, which makes it all that much more customizable. So like I said, you can use this thing mouth to lung, no problem, or you could use it wide open direct to lung and absolutely have no issue with that as well. So that is something that is definitely going to be good for a lot of people out there. My fourth pro is that the 24 millimeter makes it look good on pretty much every device out there nowadays. It's a good for modern vaping. You know, a lot of devices now are getting bigger and bigger. You got these triple battery mods like this Council Vapor Tempest or the Relos or anything like that that are just kind of bigger and bulkier and are kind of meant for a nice wider stance, RTA, RTA, etc. And this thing is no exception to that. It's short, it's stout, it's just got the right look, and it just kind of fits right on this box mod. And my final pro is the classy look. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. As I mentioned in the intro, it's a thing of beauty. I could definitely see myself, if I had a high-end mod, I could put this on there with a little bit of pride. Yes, it is a Chinese-made device, but I feel like it could sit atop a Wapari or a Geppetto and have a really nice, classy look to it. It's not going to look cheap like a few of the other RTAs out there, but yeah, that is something I can definitely appreciate. If by any chance one day I do get a high-end mod, I'll be putting the Merlin Mini on top of it. All right, guys, let's move on to some cons now. My first con on this device is the lack of juice flow control. One thing I really like about certain RTAs out there is the fact that you can close off that juice flow control, fill it, and open it up without issue, without leaking or anything like that. Now, I haven't experienced any leaking with this device. However, it is definitely possible since you don't seem to get any sort of being able to close off those juice flow control holes or what looks like juice flow control holes. There's actually no juice flow control in this device. Even if you have those holes blocked off, you're still going to get in there, as you saw in the close-ups right there. There's just no actual way to completely shut off the juice flow, and that way, if you do take a little bit extra time in filling this thing, it might end up leaking out the air holes. So just a word of warning for anyone out there, make sure you fill this thing pretty quick because you don't want juice getting everywhere. My second con is the low juice capacity. Yeah, it's only a 2 ml tank, and the build deck takes up a heck of a lot of room in that tank. I could definitely stand this thing being a few millimeters taller. Maybe on the full-size version it's going to be a little bit taller. I'm really not sure. But yeah, I could definitely stand this thing being a tiny bit taller and having a slightly higher juice capacity, because as it stands right now, I tend to fill this thing every couple of hours, which for the performance, it's really not so bad, I guess. It's kind of like having a dripper with a small tank on top, very similar to the Mage by CoilArt. However, I would like to see this thing go up above, 3.5 milliliters of e-liquid for a capacity. My third con is the build space is kind of tight. Like I said, very similar to the Mage. It's kind of tight in there. You can't really fit, too much of a crazy coil in there or anything like that. I do have a 7-wrap fuse Clapton crammed in there, but it's just barely fits. I get just barely enough clearance to this thing. I might have to do a build video on this to show you guys how I build it, but yeah, it's a little bit tight. It's definitely a little bit on the tighter side. I would have liked to have seen maybe a tiny bit more room, but I don't feel like that could even be possible with the 24 millimeter form factor. And my final con is the shiny stainless steel doesn't match a whole lot of devices. This is a very subjective con, so the shiny stainless steel is more classy. It's almost too classy for some of my mods. It doesn't really fit so much on this Council of Vapor as far as the look and feel of it goes. I almost would have liked to see a brushed stainless on this one. Also, I wish this was available in more colors. It's only available in stainless steel as far as I can tell. A black one would definitely be a huge plus in my book. I would definitely like to have a black one in my collection. However, as far as I know, they only make this thing in stainless steel. So last but not least, is this device worth purchasing if I did not receive it for free for the purpose of doing this video? And in my opinion, yes, 100% yes. I would go out of my way to find one of these devices and purchase it just because I love the look of it. I really love the styling, and I love the build options to this one as well. Also, if you wanted to try mouth to lung, or if you wanted to try, building something pretty crazy on here, you have the option to do so. So you can reduce that airflow if you like a tighter draw. You can open it wide open and have a nice loose draw to this thing, and it's going to work for you 100% of the time. I have really no complaints about building on this thing. I think it was really easy. I just kind of threw my standard build on it, and it was good to go within minutes. So definitely going to be doing a build video on this one really, really soon. So pay attention for that, guys. But yeah, that about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Of course, leave me comments in the box below of what you think of the Augvape Merlin Mini RTA. Anything you guys want to talk about there, I'd love to discuss it with you. Also, check out the advocacy links I have in the description. I've got them down there for you so you can fight for your right to vape. Also, check me out on my different social media pages. I have Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to give me a couple of bucks on Patreon, that would be awesome as well. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, vape on.